All right, it's the day after Thanksgiving. Some of you that have followed me a little bit the last year, um, I talked about doing carnivore, and I started a year ago today. So I just want to get on here and talk a little bit about that. So a year ago, I was 264, probably the biggest I've ever been. Lots of inflammation, just lots of things holding me back, especially in the outdoors or with my kids, family. So back then, I did a ton of research for a couple months, listened to some different podcasts, um, just kind of really tried to gain some knowledge on it and see if there was any success with people. And I saw a lot of really, really good feedback on it. So I was like, I'm going to go all out for Thanksgiving. And then the day after, I'm going to give it a try, see what happens. So it's been a year. So there's been a lot that's happened. So in the beginning, I started with trying to be as strict carnivore as possible. So strict carnivore is you literally eat beef, steak, roast, with salt. Then you have some water. To my understanding, that's strict carnivore. I was about as close to that as you could get, with the exception of I was having eggs, and then I would have the burger, beef ground, um, some steak, beef. I was eating like some ribeyes and some New Yorks, and um, that was working for me. And then I would mix in like some pork here and there just to kind of give me some different flavor. After a couple 3 months, I was mixing in some seafood, probably once a week, like maybe oysters here and there or some um, shrimp, just kind of give me a little flavor, like with my scrambled eggs. But I was strict or close to strict for about 5 months, 6 months, maybe even close to 8 months. Um, and at first, it was a struggle. My body was telling me it wanted certain things, and I was only giving it, you know, the carnivore stuff. And about 2 weeks into it, I started noticing a change. I started really adapting to, being fat adapted, surviving off of protein. My body wasn't craving the carbs and the processed stuff anymore. And the weight just started falling off of me. Um, it, I lost a lot of weight in that first 4 months, 5 months, probably somewhere in there. I was dropping pretty quick. Um, the only thing I ran into uh, was I started dealing with some cramping. Um, God, there was nights I'd wake up middle of the night from being a side sleeper. I pull my knees up towards my chest a little bit, kind of get in that fetal position. And as I would do that, it would draw up my hamstrings and kind of my inner thigh. And oh man, that was a battle. So I started having to up my electrolytes, like magnesium, potassium, and salt. Um, I would put salt on everything. People would eat it and be like, or take a bite, like my kids or something. They'd be like, "Man, that's way too salty," and I'm like, "Man, it needs more salt." Um, I fought that for quite a few months. It was just something I had to be religious about, drinking water and making sure I was pouring salt in water, stirring it. And then it was just like all of a sudden my body adjusted and salt became distasteful to a certain extent, which was my body just saying, "Hey, cut back." So I cut back, and now it's like I don't even hardly salt stuff. My body really likes um, just the meat, the byproducts of meat. So my body adjusted and got over the cramping, and that was the only real con of switching over to carnivore. Other than that, I literally couldn't give you a reason why it was bad or negative or really had any kind of that negative effect on me, my body, my attitude, nothing. Well, the exception of I went from 264 to, I think my lowest was about 210, 211, somewhere in there. The only thing is I just got cold all the time because I was pretty leaned out. So other than the salt battle for those months and then just getting colder, I mean, I think the trade-off is pretty good. Well, my body eventually started to adjust to cold. I think it started to learn to regulate, and I learned how to dress different. I've always known layer up, retain more heat, and I would just have to make that conscious effort of taking a little extra clothes, anything we did outdoors or in a cold building or something. So I wouldn't say that's really a negative. It's just an effect of not having all that fat on your body to insulate it. Probably one of the biggest things I noticed, there are probably two things: the lack of inflammation, the pain in my knees, my joints, my feet, my arches, the balls of my feet would give me problems. Like that all went away within about a month and a half to 2 months. And then I started noticing my energy was way up. I wasn't wanting to fall asleep on the couch. I wasn't getting a little bit grumpy towards the evenings. Like I was just sustaining energy a lot longer with less food and less times eating or feeding, whatever you want to call it. And then I was able to be more active for longer periods of time without having to grab a carb or grab any kind of fuel. The food I was eating was sustaining energy way longer, which was way awesome. I didn't have to think about food. I didn't have to think about taking food with me. If I was going to go do something during the day, I didn't have any kind of crash or crave to eat. I literally didn't think of food, and I would just focus on whatever it is I was out doing. And then with that too is, before going carnivore, if I did something active, like a big push up a hill with a backpack or something, you get to a point where you start breathing heavy, muscles start fatiguing, you start feeling that urge to stop, take a break, and then you think, well, I'll be recovered and bounce back and just start taking off. Well, before, when I was on carbs, I would have that hit that wall, and then it's like you start taking off and you're like, oh, it's still kind of burning, I'm still kind of breathing, and then it's like you fall right back into that battling whether you want to stop, take a break or not. On carnivore, it's like you start to feel your body hit that wall, and then it's just like you think you're gonna hit the wall, but then you just keep pushing and keep going and keep going, and your body just, it never like falls off to where you just want to stop. I mean, it will eventually, but like when you do stop, you catch your breath, your muscles recover really quick, and when you start taking off, it's like you just took off for the first time. It's not like you fall right back into, oh, I need a break, oh, I need to, catch my breath. Like, you recover faster, and then you stay recovered longer, which I noticed that pretty darn quick. And like I played sports growing up, football, basketball, all of that, so I'm pretty in tune to how my body recovers, and like what it's done with carnivore. It's really noticeable, the difference of recovery and then how it responds to having pressure put back on it. So that's that was pretty impressive to me, and something that I really noticed and really thought was a plus. Um, I've been trying not to say it for the last couple months, but since I had a timeline of when I started Carnivore, I can think back to the day I started Carnivore, which was a year ago today. I haven't been sick once. I don't know if it's because I've lost weight. Typically, my immune system's been pretty good, and I don't typically get sick very often. But it's been a year. I haven't had a runny nose, sore throat, fever, like nothing. Like I said, I haven't been saying anything about it trying not to say anything for 2 months, because the whole knock on wood, which I should do now, because now that I've said it to the masses, I'll probably wake up with sore throat tomorrow. But anyway, that's just something I've noticed. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll see how much longer it goes, and maybe I've just avoided people who are sick. But even my family, like, they've all had to adjust to my eating habits because, for one, I'm the man, so I mean, there's a whole nother way to go with that. But like, if I'm doing something, they're more likely to fall in line with that or follow that, because I'm leading the household. And if I'm bringing home proteins and I'm eating those, they're noticing that. They come in, what do you got? Can I have a bite? I give it to them, and they like it. I give them a plate. It's just like if I want to clean the house, instead of barking orders, if I just get up, start cleaning, 9 times out of 10, the family just starts joining in. So, yeah. I think Bodie's been sick once, maybe twice. He had kind of some stomach issues with something else that was completely separate from being sick. But there was a day he was down and out for the count, which seemed more like he was actually sick. And then I want to say Laura had that one time she was sick, which was that second or third day of archery season. But other than that, I don't recall her being sick. She might have been one other time. And I don't think Bailey has. Bailey might have had a runny nose and a little bit of a head cold. But, I mean, usually it's end of August, and 1, 2, or all of us are throwing up. Usually around Thanksgiving, everybody's got the stomach bug and throwing up. That holiday season, you're around people, everybody's indoors. But it's been a year of like none of us getting sick. So I mean, it could be just coincidence, but like those little things you notice along the way, more and more you notice them, the more and more they occur, the more it starts to kind of make sense. But I don't know. But yeah, and just the energy of everybody in the household. Like we've taken 99% of the processed stuff out of the house. Like we don't bring in the house. Nobody eats it. So yeah, the energy of the kids, me, I get on the couch at night and I don't want to fall asleep. I'm more likely to jump up and go see what, when a kid's like, Dad, come see this. I get up, I go do it. I've always been a good sleeper. But now it's like I go to bed a little later probably. I'm not as cranky right before bed. I don't hit that, I just need to go to bed. Everybody just give me a kiss goodnight so I can go to bed. I'm a little more, that's a smoother transition for me. I wake up ready to go. Oh, that's the other thing. I cut out caffeine. Geez, I don't think I had caffeine for 6, 7 months, maybe even 8, 9. It was a long time. I didn't really have withdrawals. I didn't get headaches. Like I didn't suffer from that stuff. I tend to believe my body doesn't really hang on to something that can be habit forming or addictive. I've always just been kind of a what sounds good eater, or had coffee just to have it. But like when I cut coffee and all that stuff, just cold turkey. I never got headaches, any kind of withdrawal type stuff go on. And caffeine was one of those things I cut out. And I don't know, I just, like, I wake up in the mornings and I'm just ready to go without caffeine. And it's just one less thing to worry about. And with that, like, eating carnivore is so simple. It's not, what do you want for dinner? Like, you know what you're eating. You're not getting up early like, oh, I gotta make my coffee. I gotta figure out this. I gotta figure out that. Like, it just dummies everything down. It's so freaking simple. Like, way simple. So yeah, and I think I touched on the inflammation. I pen quit working. Oh well. I did have some cheat times in that first 7-8 months. I did Christmas Day just because I was like, dude, there's gonna be candy everywhere, and like my, Bodhi loves to share everything, and there's just holiday tradition type stuff. And I was pretty strict clear up to, like, I hadn't had sugar, any carbs, like I was carnivore up to Christmas Day. And I woke up that morning and I had an energy drink. I had some chocolates and candies out of stockings. And like, soon as I started eating that stuff, within minutes, my stomach was cramping and like just being mad at me. I gained like probably 5-6 pounds overnight from that day. Probably water retention, but yeah, it was fun to do that experiment for that cheat day, but like, it kind of wrecked me. Like, I could tell there was inflammation creeping back a little bit in my joints. Like, it was just kind of a fun to see, like, kill my curiosity on like, was this really working, or is this kind of a mental thing? I don't know. So yeah. Where's my pen? I need a pen. Pencil will work. Yeah. A lot of people talk about brain fog on the carnivore diet too. I definitely have. I've never been the type to be like too much of like walk in the other room, forget what I was doing. I'm pretty good at like bouncing different conversations in my head around at the same time, and then be able to like go back to one to pick up where I left off on my, train of thought or whatever. But I did notice a difference, which was weird because I don't ever really feel like I have that, like, brain fog or, dismissive mind of like forgetting things and stuff. It's like, but I could tell, like, the more I have in life going on with, helping with my dad, and then other family and kids, and, everything that goes with that, like, you just get busy, and sometimes you're like, oh, I need a list every day of things to do. And like, the more and more I was on carnivore, the more and more it was like that list just lived in my head. And yeah, just the like thought processing, the brain fog and everything, like, a lot of people talk about that, and it's true. Like, it clears your mind, like, just dusts out all the cobwebs. Probably one of the biggest things I noticed that was a real plus for me. Before carnivore, I would eat, what I ate throughout the day. I would come home and like, usually about 2:30. I get off 2:30, come home about 3. My stomach would start cramping. It would make me kind of a little on edge, grumpy. It'd make me want to be able. Sometimes I'd want to sit down, or even there was times I'd want to lay down, lay on my left side, see if I could kind of just get that little bit of like uncomfortable feeling to go away. Carnivore, within a month. Nah, it's probably quicker than that. Maybe a couple weeks, 3 weeks at the most. Dude, my stomach just smoothed right out. I wasn't gassy. I wasn't bloated. Just the overall health, I guess, or comfortability of like just things going through my system drastically improved. I didn't burp. Like, acid reflux went away. Like, just so many things. And like, your stomach is like one of those things that kind of controls you a little bit, in my opinion. Because I mean, if my stomach was a little bound up feeling or gassy or whatever, like it put me kind of in a mood, and I would have to kind of fight that a little bit. Um, and that went along with no energy, wanting to sit down, not wanting to get up and run and see what my kids wanted me to look at. So, and that goes along with um, like bathroom. Man, when I was eating carbs and all this, like I guess you'd call standard American diet type food, processed stuff, dude, I go to work, drink coffee, within 20 minutes, I'm on the toilet. Be done with that, go back to work for 45 minutes an hour, back on the toilet. I mean, it was sometimes 3 times a day I'm going sitting on the toilet. Carnivore, like, from my understanding, this is what I've heard people say, and I can say it's true from what I've seen, is there's just, you look at the ingredients on processed foods, there is so much stuff in there where you're just like, what even is that? And why is it in there? Well, and it's all stuff your body doesn't absorb, doesn't really want. So what's it want to do? It wants to get rid of it, push it through. So every time you eat that stuff, it's like, oh, I don't like this foreign stuff that's not doing anything for my body. I want to push it out. Well, when you eat meat, so much of that meat gets digested and absorbed and used that it takes longer to digest, which is why you have sustainable energy and you don't have crashes. And I noticed that right off the bat. And like, I go to the bathroom like every other day probably. My body was pretty used to that, but I'm a big eater, so even on carnivore, like my body eats a lot. But that was nice because all the problems that go with going to the bathroom a lot, or having to find a bathroom on road trips, or you're out in the woods hunting and shoot, you got, where's the toilet paper? I mean, archery season, I don't think I used toilet paper out of my bag once. I think Lori used it all blowing her nose. I actually got that head cold, but I don't remember having to go to the bathroom out in the woods probably more than twice in that 12-day period. And with hiking and stuff that goes along with going to the bathroom, it improved all of that stuff like way better. Like hygiene, like I didn't smell. And that too, I noticed, I think Laura knows too, but like I quit wearing deodorant. Like, I've never been the type to stink. Like, I've never had stinky feet. Like, you can ask anybody that's been around me, and they're like, man, your feet, I don't get it. Your feet don't stink. And I could go days without deodorant sometimes, but definitely not like summertime hiking. And I don't think I wore deodorant the whole archery season. I don't think I put it on all of gun season. I mean, we're only there 5 days, I think it was, for gun season. But yeah, like deodorant, no, I mean, I'll wear it once in a while. That's one thing I did notice on cheat days, or here recently, I've kind of let myself go just a tiny bit, and like I've noticed that the deodorant is something that I've kind of worn a little bit more. So I don't know. I think a lot of that food that your body's trying to push through, if it gets in your system, then it's stuff in your system doesn't like. So then it's trying to sweat it out. I mean, I don't know all this, whatever goes behind how all that works, but I mean, it makes sense to me. So yeah. Honestly, like what I really eat, so this last starting back in September, before September, I would only eat steak, eggs, butter, bacon, like pork ribs, pork. I was pretty much beef and pork, or like eggs and a little bit of like cheese here and there. Archery season, I mean, we were hiking a lot. I didn't really go off the wagon too much in archery season. I did drink some energy drinks, um, and I was really paying attention just to make sure no inflammation was coming back, because I was like, man, I worked hard for a year. I lost like 53 pounds. Um, I didn't want to ruin my archery season by just not being disciplined and eating the stuff that I went away from. But I did eat some stuff I probably shouldn't have, and it didn't really affect me because it wasn't an excess of stuff. Um, so I was pretty much back carnivore after that, and then deer season is where I kind of I kind of fell into some bad things. We had Bailey along. We ate brownies. We went and got different things from the store and energy drinks, and didn't really put on a whole lot of weight. But since that hunt in early October, I've kind of let myself put a little bit of weight back on, just because I was just getting so cold, being pretty lean. So, and I've only gained like 8 to 10 pounds, and I think maybe another 4 to 5 of that is just water retention. But I'm starting to not like it. Like, starting to feel a little bit of those aches and pains, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I don't like it. So I told myself Thanksgiving I'm gonna kind of just eat what I want, and then Monday I'm going back strict carnivore. I want to get down. I'm like 222 or 223 right now, so I got that 10 to 12 pounds whatever back on. I feel pretty good with it, but I'd like to get down to 205, 210 and try to maintain that. I think that's pretty much an ideal weight for me. I was 205 when I graduated high school, and I have way more muscle than I do now. So yeah, I'm gonna make that my goal. And then this year, since I've cut the weight off, that 50 plus pounds, I want to focus on strength. I got a weight set, and I really need to start paying attention to that use it or lose it, which I probably should have done years ago. I'm turning 46 in February, so muscle's gonna play more and more and more of a factor into how I feel and how I perform in the mountains or with family or whatever. And that was kind of an eye-opener last Wednesday. I went and played basketball for the first time in probably, I don't even know, 10 years plus, 12, somewhere in there. I surprised myself. I played a lot better than I thought I would, but I know my quad strength could be a lot better. I think my calves, my Achilles area and my lower calf is what really bugged me as far as recovery for the next 3-4 days. But my quads really limited me on running up and down the court, driving the ball, or switching off, or backpedaling and shuffling a little to play defense. So I think this hunting seasons I got away with hiking really well because I was carrying heavy backpacks leading up to the hunt, and then just losing the weight made the hills not bad. But getting down and playing defense and playing basketball exposed the lack of strength I have right now. So this next year, my goal is to build strength and try to get on board with the use it or lose it program. So, yeah. And then another reason I'm trying to, or I will get back on track and just weed out all the processed stuff. I'm gonna cold turkey quit caffeine and all of that too. Is I don't have the points to do Spring Bear this year because I drew it last year, but Laura does. She would have drawn it last year, but can't remember what happened, if we spaced it or she just decided it wasn't her year for her to want to hunt that tag, but she'll have enough points to draw the tag that I drew last year. So I want to be disciplined. I mean, feel good and get back to where I was, but I want to be in good shape for that hunt. And I know last year that was the one that really tested me strength wise, because it's big country. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at with carnivore and just my diet. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments. Not an expert on this. I can only speak from my experiences with it. But yeah, I'm excited and I like where I'm at physically, and it's pretty awesome. I like that it's brought up talking about healthy choices and being disciplined with my kids and my wife. Us in the car on car rides, we have conversations about different things, or when we're making meals or we're eating them. The discipline part is really important for me. We brought up something the other day. I think my son said something about, if my daughter wins this scrimmage, can we go get, I think it was ice cream or something, to celebrate. And I was like, I like being able to celebrate things. I think ice cream can be a good way to celebrate, but that brought up food isn't always, you don't always need a reason to celebrate and use food for that celebration. I think there's a lot of things that go with food that people eat when it's more of a social thing or a celebration thing, or it's just not the discipline there, or you're not eating because your body is wanting protein or whatever it needs. You're eating out of convenience or out of a crave or a want for sugar or a celebration. So, carnivore, I think, is something everybody can take for what they want. Do it, don't do it. I'm just noticing and seeing the benefits it has for me and my family. It's pretty awesome, and I feel like we're doing a good job of teaching our kids healthy habits. It's led to my son and I having some good conversations about things that I never had conversations about with anybody growing up, let alone a man. I mean, discipline, probably the biggest thing. Providing something that's a need, not a want. I mean, that whole rabbit hole of stuff, but I don't know. I love it. It's made me feel 15 years younger, maybe even 20, and it's given me hope for the future of, man, I could do this for another 15, 20 years. Not, man, I might have a year left, 2 years left. My body's just breaking down. Well, it wasn't. It was just inflamed and overweight and lazy. So, yeah. So that's all I have on that. Thanks.